Hello and welcome back to MDG Media. We are here for the second DGPT Europe Q Series of the season. It is of course the 2025 Eastern Meadows Open presented by RocketDiscs.com. My name is Elias Luukkonen and with me on my right side is Maxime Tanghe.
How are you doing this morning?
Max, I'm great. I hope you're doing great. I hope our players are doing great. What do you expect from the second round? We saw one great score in round one and the rest pretty alright.
Yeah, pretty decent. Clay was playing pretty nicely yesterday. Conditions were hard, so let's see. I think it was slightly easier yesterday or on this round, so let's see if the players are able to score better.
And already mentioned Clay Edwards, he shot a very impressive 8 under in round 1. As you said, a lot of wind in round 1, so that 8 under was actually rated upwards to 1060.
And a new guy on the MDG channel, Emil Karlsson, Swedish, from Slussfors, Sweden. Never heard about him before. Quite excited to discover a new player.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, just a normal, nice Swedish guy. Hjalte Jensen here, of course, we have seen him a couple times in the past. Long thrower, high ceiling, great putt.
And same for Tuomas, Hyytiäinen, sponsored by Disc Mania, able to throw super far a couple times on the channel before. Pretty excited to see him again. Let's start on hole 1.
Let's go. Hole 1 is gonna be a hole where you definitely want to have a birdie putt, although it is quite difficult to park. 107 meters, well uphill, playing probably closer to 125. There's this late gap that you have to hit with a straight to overstable disc, or you can choose to go for more of a hyzer release with a straighter disc. Ideally the shot is moving straight through the gap and only after the gap you're moving a little bit left. Bit of an elevated basket on top of a rock here, making for some tricky putts on hole 1.
Beautiful opener, uphill shot.
Presented by Cataplast from Charlotte, United States. Give a warm welcome to Clay Edwards!
Let's go, Clay.
I believe it's his first year touring as a full-time disc golfer. Used to work a normal corporate job before. Now just playing disc golf. That's a solid drive, not quite reaching the basket, but a good line.
Uphill putt coming.
Give a warm welcome to Emil Karlsson!
Sponsored by Out of Bounds Disc Golf. Have you heard about this brand before?
I have. I'm not fully sure what they do, but it's a familiar name and that's a solid drive. Little 10-meter putt uphill.
And European birdies from Esbjerg, Denmark. Give a warm welcome to Hjalte Jensen!
You can see a tied third place contestant in the FPO, Jenni Karppinen, there on the background. Hjalte going much higher and much wider. As we said, he has a lot of power, so opening up some new lines for him.
Presented by Disc Mania, Power Grip and Ford from Kerava, Finland. Give a warm welcome to Tuomas Hyytiäinen!
Not super comfortable with his name.
No.
Hyytiäinen.
I think Hyytiäinen must be one of the most difficult names to pronounce all around the world.
Yes. As Y is said E in a lot of languages, here it's Hyytiäinen. Special. And a good drive for him.
Yeah, and at least our commentator has the pronunciation right.
I'm so happy. Too much time in Finland.
Not a big crowd here, but some players following the action. Let's see Clay, he has this good nose-up spinny putt. Good for the uphill. They're a little bit low there. I think on this one, as you're putting uphill, but you also have an elevated basket, the comebackers are compared to putting on flat ground with just a normal basket.
Oh,
wow. Very strong effort.
Yeah. Good to start the round with.
Wow, perfect putt. That was a great angle to see the flight that his putter has. Very flat and firm. Not much sideways action.
And a good putt for Tuomas. Always good to start with a birdie on this hole. Not super easy.
Yeah, overall pretty solid start for our card. It's not that easy of a birdie. Just 23% of the field getting a birdie on hole 1. Though very easy to par, not many bogeys here. I'd say this is pretty much expected. Well done, moving on to much more of a difficult hole. Hole 2, playing half a stroke above par on average. Perfect shot here is gonna be a very tight forehand flex shot. Wanna throw something somewhat overstable through the gap on some anhyzer, and hopefully about halfway through the flight it's starting to fade to flat and finally fade out to the right with that overstability. We're going downhill, so the distance is playing closer to 110 or 105. A lot of players are also playing just a safe shot to the left side of the fairway, not even trying to birdie the hole. But looks like Hjalte has this overstable driver to go for the birdie.
Looks very good. Not sure where it landed exactly, but the line looked perfect.
Tuomas also going for this wider anhyzer gap, which I think is the easy gap to hit. And hitting that beautifully, just 10 meters short. I'd say anytime you can be in circle 2 on this hole, that's going to be a great result.
Just needs to get back. Beautiful shot. Oh. Hitting one of the last gardens here. Still a decent drive for Clay. And the inside line for Emil.
Love that line, very confident release. The inside line is a bit tighter, but I'd say it's easier to reach basket that way if you want to be parked. And overall 4 very good drives on this hole. Nobody really in danger of bogeying. As Clay runs it, we have a bit of a downhill slope here, so the runs from far out can be dangerous.
Whoa. This was impressive. Downhill, dangerous green. Just casually going for it. Beautiful.
He's not really showing any signs of nerves so far. You know, I feel like usually when you make it to a big lead card for the first time, you're usually a bit shaky at the beginning.
Okay, Hjalte. 2 in a row. Great job on the green.
Looking dialed. Start of the round is definitely setting up for some hotter scores. Tuomas just a bit low there. Best drive of the bunch, but unable to get the birdie. I'd say the front 9 of this course, especially if it's windy, which today it's still somewhat windy. It's not super windy, but the back 9 will offer a lot of wind. I'd say the front 9 is gonna be still the easier 9. The first 3 holes are kind of difficult, but after that you're gonna have 6 very birdieable holes coming up. And hole 3, while this can be a difficult hole, it's also very birdieable. 109 meters uphill. It shapes just perfectly for a right-hand backhand overstable driver thrown flat or on a slight hyzer. Wanna keep it high enough where you're beating the uphill, but not too high where you're challenging some of the high branches or just stalling out early. There is going to be a headwind on this hole, so if you go with something very overstable, the headwind is gonna help you to move further left and less forward. So you can actually push the backside of this fairway with your driver quite a lot. But most important thing, of course, hitting the gap first.
Slate. Not the worst kick.
Let's see, Emil.
This is looking better.
Little
Tight.
inside, yeah. Easy mistake to make as you're trying to move pretty far to the left of the tee. Intuitively, you would like to play it tight, but you can actually just hit the middle of the fairway and your disc's overstability can take you all the way to the basket.
This was too much inside also. Clay still looking for his first birdie. This is looking very nice. Wow.
Beautiful shot. And look at the left movement. He ended up going for a distance driver compared to a fairway driver, which I believe maybe at least Hjalte and maybe even Tuomas threw, getting a lot of left movement at the end. Hjalte here for par. Not the nicest par, but
Yeah, especially on this green, you like to be as close as possible. It's going to be a good tester. A good nerves check. And Emil in a position to play for the bogey.
that's gonna be a typical look on this hole. I'd say it's a very small percentage of the field that is gonna be running outside the circle putts on this hole. Emil as well, just laying up for the par. And let's see if Hjalte is one of those small percentage group.
Okay. And another one. 7 meters, quite scary for bogey. Nice. Good save though.
I wonder if he was already thinking about what happened in round 1 on hole number 10, where he had that unfortunate 4 or 5 putt even.
I'm pretty sure he's professional enough to forget about it. And he just proved to us that he's comfortable on the green. Clay with his first birdie of the round. 9 down. Elias Luukkonen playing hot.
Now we're starting the easy stretch of the course. And when I say easy, I mean you're pretty disappointed if you take a single bogey on this stretch and don't birdie at least 2 or 3 of the next 6 holes. Hole number 4, it's gonna be a pretty simple shot. It's gonna be a forehand hyzer if you have the shot, just a little approach disc or overstable fairway driver. Have to play it very inside though, because the wind is pushing from the right. So your forehand, or if you throw that anhyzer backhand, all of them are gonna be pushed down and they don't really want to move to the right with that wind. So play it inside, potentially a bit higher than you feel like, and you're gonna find yourself in the circle.
Very windy hole, especially the green. Can be scary if you end up short on your drive.
This is a nice line. I love the shot here. Just sit down.
Wow.
Sit
Oh my.
down now.
And we don't know what happened.
Yeah, pretty unlucky. He did go with a fast driver though, so I think to hopefully eliminate the skip, you would maybe want to go with something slower. Of course, he threw the perfect shot, so we can't really blame him. Both Both Clay and Hjalte threw it a bit too left, a bit too low, and Emil also a bit too left. You can see the tee pad is actually facing towards the left side woods, so if you want to hit the gap, you have to take your forehand run up sort of across the tee pad from left to right. Definitely something that gets into a lot of people's head, I think.
Good up shot.
From here, I was about to say no running the putt from
my.
here, but Hjalte has something else in his mind. I don't really like that. I think he was 20 meters out, right, left wind, death putt. Wow!
It's been 2 days in a row with the same putt for Clay, running it perfectly centered, headwind, beautiful control, beautiful wind read. So good.
I think Clay's putt is surprisingly really good in the wind. Even though he doesn't putt super hard and doesn't have that aggressive pop, but he just puts the disc nice and flat.
Yeah, I agree. A very nice putting technique on Clay's side, proving it again. And Tuomas is nice. Is now 12 meters down there. Something not able to capitalize, unfortunately. Still 1 down through 4, not too bad. As you were mentioning, the first 3 holes are quite tricky. Okay, and Jakub is there to caddy. Play pretty cool.
Yeah, Jakub originally supposed to play, but had to drop out from the tournament. And we're moving on to hole number 5. I'd say this might be the trickiest of the easy holes of this stretch. 103 meters. It's not difficult by any means, but you do have to hit the gap and angle pretty nicely here. Also, with the left to right wind that we have now, as we're going to the opposite direction compared to the last hole, you want to throw something slightly more stable than normally, because the wind is going to be turning your discs more to the right. But yeah, the most important thing here, just throw it hard enough to reach the basket. We're going a little bit uphill and hopefully hit the gap with a nice flat shot here.
Are you going fairway driver on this one?
Personally, yes. Though I think if you're comfortable throwing that hard, thrown mid-range, I think that's the best play. Clay there pulling it to the right and the wind also pushing it even further. I think Tuomas is going mid-range here for sure.
Those kicks to the left are so nasty. So hard to scramble on those left side bushes. And Emil Karlsson is going standstill.
Wow.
Dead center. He's going to be inside the circle with an uphill putt. Very good control. Hjalte back to even. Started hot and then made 2 mistakes in a row, but very good line here.
Well done. A little bit short there, but should be a very makeable putt for him. And this hole 5 surprisingly playing easier than the last hole, even though it's much longer and more technical, I'd say. Or at least a more difficult shot.
Oh. Not the best upshot on Tuomas' hand. It's gonna be a tester just inside the circle. Clay now from the woods right side of the fairway. Good up.
Alright, let's see. Hjalte after a couple of putting errors. And that's gonna be one more of them. He would have a really good round if he was putting perfect right now.
Yeah, maybe one driving mistake on hole 3. But apart from that, as you're saying, it's more on the green that he's struggling. And so some putting struggles for the entire card, unfortunately. Tuomas with a bogey, back to even. And again, Clay is just 2 down, nothing crazy, but he's in the lead.
Interesting to see all of these players missing the putts from C1, as this hole is actually the second easiest putting hole on the course. People are making 83% of their C1X putts on that one. We're moving on to another very birdieable hole. On this hole, I can promise you everybody is gonna be pissed if they don't get the birdie. Hole number 6. You can choose your option here. You have a straight shot, but most people are going for the wider left gap. Either a small turnover with the backhand or the most common play by far, just an overstable driver forehand. Try to crash the gap, hopefully hit the ground just a couple meters before the basket. There is no excuse for being outside the circle on this hole.
I had to scramble to save my par.
I think Clay there is going to be around the edge of the circle.
Do you remember how was the wind? Was it something like tail from left to right?
I think it was left to right, yeah.
That's what got me.
Hjalte going for a straight forehand.
I love it.
Almost looking like an ace run. Wow. Beautiful shot.
And an easy birdie incoming to go back under the par.
This looks nice as well. Beautiful angle. A little bit short there, but should be in the circle. And our card actually not having the best grouping here. It's not a hole that is even too rare to star frame, even if you're not the lead card. But we're not gonna have that, as Emil, he had a tricky putt there. A bit of a comebacker left.
Not able to take this one. Not too bad of a line. Now Tuomas. 7 meters. High in the chains, but capitalizing very good. Back to E2, 1 down.
Good stroke there after the missed putt on the last hole. And Emil comebacker, very confident. No problem there. This guy is definitely giving a chance to the rest of the field. Nobody with a really hot start.
In January 2026, MDG Media is heading to Senegal for a mission unlike any before. Not just to film disc golf, but to build it from the ground up. We will create the country's first ever disc golf course, visit local schools, donate discs and baskets, and share the game with communities ready to discover it. Through every step, you will be right there with us, thanks to a full-length documentary and live updates on social media. This is not just a one-time trip. It's about spreading the disc golf spirit and making a lasting impact. We truly believe that our sport can help make the world a better place.
Support the project, guys. We are going to Senegal in January and we need your help. Thank you for that. Hole 7 now.
Alright, hole 7, moving on from the easiest hole of the course to the second easiest hole of the course. This hole you have to birdie. It's only 58 meters uphill, playing probably 70 meters. It's a straight shot, you can go forehand straight, backhand straight, hit the rocks a few meters before the basket and slide yourself to the bullseye. Just a couple of trees to miss, but really they're not in the way, so if you don't miss your line, you're not gonna hit a tree on this hole. Hjalte there, even missing his line, still not hitting a tree, and he's gonna be parked. This hole is very easy.
Good shot also for Tuomas to go 2 birdies in a row. And Clay to comfort his lead. That's slightly short. Do you think he's inside the circle there? Not sure.
I think should be just around the edge there. Emil a bit wide on the forehand. Very wide on the forehand. He has actually slid down the hill a bit. Now this can be a scary putt because if you go way past the basket, you're rolling down. But easy par there on a hole that you really don't want to take a par on. Over 50% of the field burning this one.
Wow. 3 down through 7 for Clay. Not the greatest starts. Slow, but very solid. In a comfortable position right now. Hjalte and Tuomas with easy birdies. Both 2 down on the round.
More birdies ahead, hole number 8. Just 91 meters, a little bit downhill. It plays great for a straight to overstable forehand. Ideally you want to go under the branch of this tree on the left. Just as the drone is flying, under the branch is going to be the cleanest route. You can accidentally go over the branch and still be putting inside the circle if you throw a nice angle on the forehand. Some people are going with a backhand turnover, but I'd say the forehand is by far the cleanest play. You want to go rather straighter than far to the right because the green is sloping a little bit left to right. So if you fade it out early, you can skip down the hill. I would expect these guys to all at least have a chance at birdie here.
Still okay after that branch hit. Just outside the circle.
Oh, wow, that's a big kick. Oh.
Going far down on the right side.
A little bit surprising to see Tuomas not going for the forehand, since he still does have a solid forehand, even if he's not fully comfortable with it on this hole.
Ouch, too low. Some scramble for Emil. And still 7-8 meter putt coming to save the par.
Alright, can we get a birdie on this one? Clay will have a good chance, but Hjalte here from outside the circle. Once again low.
It's too low again, unfortunately. Wow. Great save.
Emil, he's not playing great, but he's keeping it together pretty well with a lot of these par saves. Clay, let's see, only birdie on the card there. Building the lead. And he's already 6 strokes clear of the entire card.
Nothing crazy about Clay's game, it's just control. Very steady disc golf right now, hole 9.
Hole 9, last hole of this easy stretch. We're gonna start the back 9 with a much more difficult hole, but this one still very gettable. Just throw something flat or slight hyzer, usually an approach disc or a mid-range that has hopefully good stability. Fade slightly left through the gap, take a little skip to the basket. Don't wanna turn it over to the right at all or push the right side because the danger on this hole is that right side OB behind the basket. So rather wanna be a little bit short than going long right.
Go left now. The OB is quite dangerous. Great drive again.
Nice
Thank you, Tree. It
line.
could have been in danger with the OB behind again.
Yeah,
Good drive.
Hjalte not caring much about the speed control here, but rather just hitting the line and hopefully something stops the disc. Tuomas there, that's an easy mistake to make. You want to, as you're trying to go something with something slightly more overstable, you have to push it a bit flatter.
Quite interesting to see Emil going standstill drives.
Yeah, I don't really remember what's the last time we saw that on the card.
Never on MDG, I'd say. Apart from Silva doing that sometimes.
Right, Hjalte, let's finish the front nine on a good note. And another, just a slight miss. You know, he's not far from having a great front nine. He could be 4 or 5, almost 6 under.
And look at this guy. Waving. 5 down through 9. Comfortable lead. Not sure what's going on in the chase and third card though. Let's wait for the recap.
Yeah, Clay's game is looking really nice. I like he's throwing smooth shots, not trying too much. But as you can see, everybody besides Clay on the lead card has dropped a bit. Eetu Tuominen, Nestori, Lauri, myself even were in the mix. And the back nine is going to be very important. More wind there and honestly more opportunity to lose ground and maybe to pick some back up.
We'll see, that's going to be interesting. Comfortable lead at the moment for Clay. 5 strokes on the entire field, which is pretty decent. Let's wait for the back nine.
See you guys there.